Hi there, friends. Um, so this video will be an update about what I have done this week. I realize that I have not mentioned that I'm still in my notice period, so everything that I do is after working hours. So I still don't have as much time to spend on this, but I think I'm making a pretty good progress, and if if I change the plans, then don't be too harsh on me. This is still very much probing the grounds and seeing how best to proceed. And I think that for now it would be best for me to focus on freelancing as much as I can, so that I can build up a little bit of savings. So that I don't have to draw from what I have saved so far. So this week, I might have talked about what? No, I have not. I have worked on this hackathon on Gitcoin, which was about creating a web portal for this company called Wildcards. What they do is they have a pretty cool idea. They want to conserve the animals. So basically, a company introduces themselves to Wildcards, and that's what I think how it works. And suppose an animal is endangered, or they simply need funding to conserve the animals, and Wildcards will place the campaign for that animal. How it works is they create a non-fungible token, I believe, for that animal, and what that means is that this is a digital asset that lives on the blockchain, and it's unique. That is a distinguishing factor of non-fungible tokens. If you compare those to ERC20 tokens, for example, then you can specify the supply, the total supply for the token, and it can be 1 million tokens or whatever you want it to be. Whereas non-fungible tokens are unique tokens. So they create this token for that animal, and say a consumer goes to their website. Well, not someone who wants to help the animals goes to their website, and how they can help is that they can buy that non-fungible token, and immediately they have to set the resale price on that token. And another unique feature is that there is a tax on that token. So say it's 10%, and you'll have to pay that tax every month or whatever the frequency is, but it is compounded continuously, meaning that that interest rate, that tax rate is calculated every second, hypothetically. So they have placed a hackathon bounty on Gitcoin. I'm actually representing them right now. Here we go. This is a shout out to Avoki. He sent me the t-shirt. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, so that issue had to do with creating a web portal for artists to be able to submit their artworks, because those non-fungible tokens, they also have the artwork of the animal that you are supporting, but at the moment they don't have an automated process to do that. It's pretty much manual. So they wanted people on the Gitcoin community to help them create that portal. So I thought that is something that I can definitely help them with, but obviously, since it is a contest, there was no guarantee that I would win it, right? But at the moment of me applying for that hackathon, there was no competition. So I jumped on the call with Jason, and he explained to me in detail what they wanted. I started talking about like the storage and stuff, suggesting them to use AWS for S3 buckets, and for non-technical people, that's a non-blockchain solution, and Jason was like, wait a second, and so really appreciate your guidance, Jason. So what I settled on was an IPFS. I use IPFS for storing the artwork. So IPFS works sort of like S3 for the technical people. And I use Pinata. It really helps it simplifies the process of storing the files a lot. That was part of the solution, and the second part was to use Threebox for chatting with the admins. And sorry, my girlfriend is playing Animal Crossing. Okay, what was I talking about? Chatting with admins. So there was also a need to be able to ping an admin and ask for feedback for the art submission, or or just to simply see the submissions of other people. So what I've been able to implement is the Pinata part, which is the submission of the art to the IPFS. That stands for Interplanetary File System. Pretty cool name, right? But the second part, I've had a lot of trouble with it. So Threebox gives you the components, and what I mean by that is let's take a step back. So I've written all of this in React, which is a front end framework. You could use other frameworks, Vue or whatever, but React is pretty popular, and that is the only framework that I'm familiar with, so I went with that. Plus the guys had their SDK written in React as well, so that's very cool. And what React allows you to do is that it has like these things called components. Say a component can be a form where you fill out your name and last name, etc., or it can be like a button or whatever you want it to be. There can be like more abstract uses of components as well. But so what was I talking about? Yeah, Threebox allows you to they have developed React components that allow you to integrate chatting into your application. However, there were a lot of issues with that, in that it wasn't persistent. Like every time you would load up a website, it would all get lost. And I've talked to the author of that library. They gave me a suggestion to use their other library. That other library also had issues, and it's never ending. So this task, the bounty was $500, and I have spent more than 20 hours on it. And I like to think that my average hourly rate is $50. So I definitely did not spend the time as efficiently as I could, but I mean I really liked the project, so I just kept going, and I really like the team at Wildcards, and their code is really clean, and I just love it, and they taught me a couple of things as well, so thanks a lot. Yeah, so that's it. So this is still, so I they have notified me that I have won the bounty, so I have won those $500. But I really want to kind of get this to some final point, because as I said, that Threebox is not fully integrated. So me and Jason will do a live stream of that, and I'll be sure to share that. So let's see what I have done then, and then I'll talk about two other tasks that I've been able to complete. So my goal is to make about $2,000 per month from freelancing. that would just purely cover my rent and the bills. But it's going pretty good right now, and I think since I'm still in the notice period, I might extend my freelancing to include all of my notice period. But obviously, I only do this after work, so it's going pretty good. So I'll talk about the other two tasks that I've done. But first, let me show you this this wildcards portal if you're interested, which I'm sure you are. So, what was it called? I think my folder is called Conserve Animals. So let's check out to master. Let's pull git log 25 hours. Yeah, that's right. Now I think the dependencies are installed, but let's check. Huh, they're not. And I've got some tea over here. How are you doing? You're good? Can't hear you, unfortunately. Alright, so it's done. There's another thing that we need to run, I think. And we are finally ready. Yarn start. Takes some time to load this up. I'm not sure why. I think the dependencies are pretty fat. Which is quite strange. Okay, so this UI isn't supposed to be perfect. The functionality is what matters, but you'll see later that it's not all that bad. So when you're not connected to an Ethereum provider like MetaMask, then it will ask you to connect. So let me quickly log in, and let's change the blockchain network to Ringby test and log in. This is fake if connect MetaMask, and we are in the mainframe. So this is the main page. Like you can check out the open bounty, so to say, for the animals. This is a Gorilla Vitalik. What I have added. Okay, so this is where you actually buy the art, right? And it will have the prices if it was from the people that already own it, or if it's new. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but anyway, this is where you are supposed to buy the cards. I've added this navigation bar option called Artist. This is where now this is my girlfriend drinking water. So when you go to this page, it will greet you. This is your 3-box username. And we can add some more stuff here later on if we want. We can even add the edit button that will allow you to edit your 3-box profile from this page. But since this is this part is not that important for streamlining the art submission, I've left it out. Submit art is where you actually submit the art. So your masterpiece name, let's say, is Thomas, well, not Thomas Cole, Rise of an Empire. And tell us something. So this comment is for admins. and this is where the artist can just write anything they want. Let's say, hello, how's your day? This drop-down allows you to link up your submission with a particular animal. Let's say it's a pangolin, and we then select the picture that we want to submit. Let's take this painting. And another thing I want to show you, let's fire up our Pinata Pin Explorer. User not authenticated. Not good. Boom! That's how Dashlane works. They did not pay me for advertising them, so. But this is not a Pin Explorer. I wanted to go to Pin Explorer. Oh, there. So these are the submissions that I have already made. And we'll make a new one, and will be added here. So, this text over here tells us what we're submitting. Let's say submit. Get a nice spinner there, uploaded successfully. Once again, the focus was not on the UI. It could have been much better. I could have used components libraries to make it very pretty, but I wanted this to be lightweight, and I wanted this to be focused purely on the functional part. And once that is done, I could have spent a bit more time on the UI part, but I was conscious of the fact that wildcards may want to do this properly themselves. So it was, and if I had time, I might have spent that additional time on the UI, but there was no point in doing that. So we have submitted that, and if we go back to the Pin Explorer, we should be able to see the 5th submission on here. And we don't! That's strange. But it says it did post to the thread. Interesting. Let's see, maybe it's gonna show up here now. This might be due to the fact that the environment variables are not set. Let's check. Now you got a real glimpse of the development life cycle. They are here, so it should have worked. Well, let's fix it together. This video now becomes how to debug your own app that has won the Gitcoin bounty. Let's see. All right. Interesting. Maybe this is not. Let's check the API of this user, API keys of this user. I'll obviously change them after I upload this. ABF9 and A7FC. A7FC and ABF9. Okay, that's correct. You know what? Let's debug let's console log the submission. So the code is, let me zoom in a bit. Let's just find it. Submit.jsx. Okay, there. You know what? I think it might be because this is Ringby and doesn't matter. Let's see the tax. Okay, so this is the component that is responsible for submitting the art. Let's see. Okay, it submits to 3box, and where does it submit to? Pinata. There, pin art is where it submits to Pinata. Well, it's sad that it did submit to 3box, which means that it should have submitted to Pinata, because it submits to 3box only if it submits to Pinata. Let's see if it's in the thread. So it was Pangolin. Oh, look, it is in the hello, how is your day? Rise of an Empire. It's here, but it is not in Explorer. What? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, sorry, I think I'm being retarded. I think it's the fact that it's on the Ringby, not mainnet. If I change to mainnet, then we try and do that again. Fall of an Empire this time, and tell us something. Let's go for Gorilla this time and select the file to upload. This one, submit. Submitted successfully. Review submissions. Is there anything new here? Okay, it is a legit problem. Let's see. Yeah, it's saying there is a invalid from address. Okay, let's see. Pin art. Let's console log the thing that we are pinning. And let's check the method that actually submits it. I think I've put it into the context, into 3box, in state. Oh, sorry, it's not in 3box, it's in pinning. Pinning state, pin art, there. If not profile, return. Huh. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's the problem. We are not giving that pin art, if you recall, any profiles. And that is why it just simply returns. So, all we have to do is add... Wait, so what was it called? It was called art meta, and Where is it? Yeah, art meta and profile. So if we go back to submit, then where was it again? Pin art there. So over here, all we have to do is send a object where profile is dot profile and art meta is dot art meta, and that should fix it. Throttle the submit. Yeah, that's another thing that we would have to do if we want to protect against denial of service. Sorry, my camera just died on me, so I had to wait for half an hour for it to get recharged again. I guess you can call me a YouTube influencer now. That's crazy. That camera had a charge of 30%, and in just 20 minutes of recording, it just died. Anyway, so we have changed what we pass to pinart function, and now it is supposed to work smoothly, and we'll commit that. Let's see. Submit art, new art, optional, gorilla, pick the art, submit, and moment of truth. It's not here. But at least now we have the log to see what just happened. Looks like it didn't even hit the method. Strange. Oh, we did not log anything. Okay. Profile. Well, let's see. Console log profile. Console log art meta. Okay, that will give us the information about what is being submitted. Okay, it does have the profile and it does have the art meta. So, I mean, it's supposed to be in there. Profile and art meta. Submit. File, state image profile, art meta, dispatch. Let's log here as well. Profile in pinart. What if it has context that is called pro? No, it doesn't. Console log art meta console log art meta. Test 2, Gorilla select. Okay, it is here. Let's see if there's a response from bin to IPFS. Console log bin arts response. Console log response. Test 3. Well, anything, submit. Oh my goodness, it's 200. It's supposed to be there. It says, there you go. This is the IPFS hash. What on earth? Jesus. Where is it? Oh. Unpinned? This is truly interesting. I wonder whether it has to do with the bin policy. Well, let's try again. Let's actually kill this server and start it again. This is so bizarre. And I remember I was making a demo presentation for wildcards, and it wasn't working. So it's up. Ah, okay, I know what's going on. Look at this hash. QMXS blah 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 and then Q9G. Right? This is exactly the same. I think that because I'm uploading the same file, it doesn't do anything. Well, you live and you learn. And that makes sense. I mean, the submission is using the same, and even look at the timestamp. It tells me like, you fool, you've already done this. Okay. So if we change the image, then it's supposed to work properly. Let's say winning submission. Hi there, friend. You look good today. God, even better. Pick anything. Then let's pick something else. Let's pick this squirrel. And submit. And this time around, it will be here. Thank you. There it is, winning submission. We go back here, review submissions, and there you go. The file name created on. So, what is not integrated in this solution is this chat over here for admin chat. This is where submitters will be able to talk to the wildcards team, and the all column is responsible for showing them all of the submissions from other users. I've mentioned that the 3box component that I've tried to integrate, it has issues. Hopefully the author helps us with that. I've reached out and they were gracious enough to offer us some help, but we'll see how that goes. I have implemented a hacky solution, so to say, to have at least something. So if you click on this, it will take the ID of the animal and it will open up a 3box persistent chat to show you all of the submissions that were made. So if we click on that, there is this ugly chat, but it has the 3did, which is like an identification in 3box for the author of the submission, and this is the one that we just made. It tells you the size of the submission, etc. So what we'll do with JSON on the live stream, we will integrate the IPFS hash to be able to embed the images here so that the artists can actually see those images. This will be a read-only chat, so they won't be able to do anything. They will only be able to see the stuff in here. And the talk to admin chat is not implemented at all, but we'll use that 3box enhanced component that will be hopefully fixed, and we'll be able to talk to the artists as well. Another thing that I've added is the admin panel. If you go to the admin panel, it's very ugly. It's not supposed to be pretty. It's purely for admins to be able to review the submissions. The way you do that is you pick the status that you want to move the submission to. For example, rejected, or actually, let's say improve. And let's say just fix the coloring, for example. I don't know what that means, but anyway. And we click on this thing and it will change the metadata on the pin. We do that, we get the response that it was successful. So if you go back to the artist page, we'll see that our latest submission will be in the improve. There you go. It says open chat with admin. So when it moves into the review status, we let them know that they should talk to the admin, and so they'll be able to click on this button or whatever the UI will be, and they'll be able to talk to the admin to see how best to fix it. And another thing that we'll need to add is the resubmission button here, which will be pretty easy as well, so they don't have to delete this. Actually, they can't at the moment. So they could only actually create a new submission. So we'll do that as well. Not a lot of things. I reckon it will take an hour or two to do all of that, and it will be ready for production for wildcards. As for the other two tasks that I've done this week, I've done a task for Dia, and that's the previous video. Actually, I've done that a week ago. That was a scraper for a crypto exchange. So the guys needed the code that would pull the data from the cryptocurrency exchange and save that into their DB. I've done that, and I've done another task for FTX that was a bit more complicated. So for that task, they needed the data for options. If you're not familiar with the finance lingo, options are financial instruments that let you. Well, in this case, it was calls and puts. That's the term for them. But what those allow you to do is you buy that contract, and it allows you to either sell or buy the underlying for a fixed price in the future. And the underlying in this case is the Bitcoin or Ethereum, I think. And FTX is quite unique compared to other cryptocurrency exchanges in that it needed you to first create the request for quotes, and then you need to pull those quotes. So it's not a WebSocket implementation, it's a REST API. I'm rushing through this because I'm conscious that it took ages to debug this. So I'll save this stuff for the next video. But for the CoinFlex API, I've received 150 DIA tokens. Those are not listed at the moment, so there is no price on it. And for the FTX, I have not received the payment yet, but that task was $300. So we were able to make $800 in 2 weeks. Not great, but not bad either. So let's see how it goes. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe. See ya.